Home, a luxury few can afford. This stark statement encapsulates the harsh reality of the housing crisis gripping Germany. What was once a fundamental right, access to safe, affordable housing, is rapidly becoming an elusive dream for many. Across major German cities, a toxic cocktail of soaring rents, stagnant wages, and limited housing supply has created a perfect storm, pushing vulnerable populations to the brink. This crisis is not merely about bricks and mortar, it's about the erosion of social mobility, the widening gap between the haves and have-nots, and the increasing precarity of life in one of the world's most prosperous nations. While the crisis manifests differently across Germany's diverse urban landscape, its impact is undeniable, leaving an indelible mark on individuals, families, and communities. Hit the like and subscribe button for more videos. Germany, often lauded for its economic prowess and social safety net, is grappling with a housing crisis of unprecedented proportions. The heart of the issue lies in the stark imbalance between housing supply and demand. Major cities like Berlin and Munich are witnessing an influx of people seeking opportunities and a better quality of life, further intensifying the competition for limited housing. This surge in demand, coupled with a sluggish pace of new construction, has created a landlord's market, allowing property owners to hike rents with impunity. The statistics paint a grim picture. In Berlin, the average rent has skyrocketed by over 85% in the last decade, while in Munich, it hovers at an eye-watering €21.70 per square meter. This upward trajectory of rent prices shows no signs of abating, pushing affordable housing further out of reach for a growing segment of the population. While the housing crisis affects everyone, its impact is most acutely felt by vulnerable groups, including low-income families, immigrants, and marginalized communities. These groups, already grappling with systemic inequalities and socioeconomic disadvantages, are disproportionately burdened by the exorbitant cost of housing. For low-wage earners, the dream of owning a home has become increasingly unattainable, forcing them to navigate a cutthroat rental market where they often face discrimination and exploitation. Immigrants, particularly those new to the country, encounter additional barriers, including language obstacles, unfamiliarity with local laws, and prejudice from landlords. The housing crisis exacerbates their vulnerability, trapping them in a cycle of poverty and social exclusion. The roots of Germany's housing crisis run deep and are intertwined with a complex interplay of social, economic, and political factors. One of the primary drivers is the severe shortage of affordable housing, a problem that has been brewing for decades. Despite government efforts to incentivize construction, the pace of new builds has failed to keep up with the ever-increasing demand. Furthermore, the economic downturn of recent years, exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic and the ongoing energy crisis, has had a chilling effect on the construction industry. Rising inflation, coupled with soaring interest rates, has made it increasingly expensive for developers to secure financing for new projects, further constricting the housing supply. Section 5. Government intervention. A patchwork of promises and pitfalls. Recognizing the gravity of the housing crisis, the German government has implemented a range of policies aimed at easing the burden on renters and boosting the supply of affordable housing. These measures include rent controls, social housing initiatives, and financial assistance programs for first-time homebuyers. However, critics argue that these interventions are often piecemeal, inadequate, and fail to address the root causes of the crisis. Rent controls, while providing temporary relief for some tenants, are also blamed for disincentivizing new construction and creating a black market for rentals. Moreover, bureaucratic hurdles and lengthy approval processes often hinder the development of new social housing projects. Section 6. The Battle for Tempelhofer Feld. Green space versus housing needs. The housing crisis has ignited fierce debates about urban development priorities, with the iconic Tempelhofer Feld in Berlin emerging as a flashpoint for controversy. Once a bustling airport, Tempelhofer Feld was transformed into a sprawling public park, cherished by Berliners as a green oasis in the heart of the city. However, the acute housing shortage has prompted calls to develop portions of Tempelhofer Feld for residential use. Proponents argue that this valuable land could provide much-needed housing for thousands of Berliners. Opponents, however, fiercely defend the park's preservation, citing its ecological importance and social significance as a communal gathering space. The battle for Tempelhofer Feld exemplifies the complex trade-offs and competing interests at play in the struggle for affordable housing. Section 7. A global housing crisis, lessons from abroad. Germany is not alone in its struggle to provide affordable housing for its citizens. Cities worldwide, from London to New York to Hong Kong, are grappling with similar challenges. While each context is unique, there are valuable lessons to be learned from the successes and failures of housing policies implemented in other countries. For instance, Vienna's long-standing commitment to social housing, with over 60% of its residents living in publicly owned or subsidized housing, offers a compelling model for ensuring housing affordability. Similarly, Singapore's innovative approach to public-private partnerships in housing development provides insights into leveraging private sector expertise while maintaining affordability. Section 8. Navigating the Housing Labyrinth. A multifaceted approach. Addressing Germany's housing crisis demands a multifaceted approach that goes beyond simplistic solutions. It requires a fundamental shift in perspective, recognizing housing as a fundamental right rather than a commodity subject to market forces. A comprehensive strategy must encompass a range of measures, including significantly increasing the supply of housing at all price points, with a particular focus on social and affordable housing units. This will require streamlining bureaucratic processes, incentivizing private sector participation, and exploring innovative construction methods. Implementing robust rent control mechanisms that strike a balance between protecting tenants from exorbitant rent hikes and encouraging investment in new housing. Empowering local communities to have a greater say in urban planning decisions, ensuring that new developments meet the needs of residents. Providing targeted support for vulnerable groups, such as rent subsidies, legal aid for tenants facing eviction, and programs to combat discrimination in the housing market. Section 9. A Home for All, a Vision for the Future. The right to safe, affordable housing is not a utopian ideal. It is a fundamental pillar of a just and equitable society. Tackling Germany's housing crisis is not merely about constructing more buildings. It is about building a future where everyone has the opportunity to live with dignity and security, regardless of their income or background. By embracing a holistic approach that prioritizes social responsibility, sustainable development, and community engagement, Germany can pave the way for a future where a roof over one's head is a right, not a privilege. The journey will undoubtedly be challenging, but the pursuit of a home for all is a goal worth striving for the sake of present and future generations.